Do you know where most fights go when they get real serious? When the striking starts to get dangerous? When a fighter wants to end the fight? No, not the dance floor. This phone booth. Welcome to the clinic where we break down the finer points of fighting. Today's topic, the fight in the phone booth, or as the cool kids call it these days, the clinic. Let me show you why they call it that. It's not all about the reach. We think the striking battle is over once the fighters get inside the clinch, but that's not true. It's just beginning. The striking battle in the clinch is a test of strength, of position, and dirty boxing skills. The art of the clinch, it's an exciting thing to watch. Anyone who says it's boring, obviously hasn't been on the receiving end of a knee to the midsection. You can control the distance here. You can hold someone in place and unleash hell with your knees and elbows. It's an extension of the striking battle, only now you've closed the distance. Now you're inside. Some people say the real fight starts here. That's because those who are good at it can dominate their opponents like nothing you've seen. But it takes a special kind of fighter to master the art of the clinch. Let me tell you, if you're facing someone who knows this style of fighting, you'd better be ready for anything. A lot of people think of the clinch as a wrestling position. That's because many wrestlers use the clinch to get the fight to the ground. It's actually much more than that. If you don't believe me, ask any Muay Thai fighter and they'll tell you all about it. Muay Thai fighters use the clinch to set up their knees and elbows. They'll use it to smother their opponent's striking. They'll use it to get into position for knee strikes. Sometimes they use it to set up a trip or throw. The clinch is a dangerous place. But there's more. You can control the space. You can limit what your opponent can do and open up opportunities for yourself. You can interrupt your opponent's rhythm and make them miss. And then there's the dirty boxing aspect. Here's how boxers describe it. Dirty boxing is what happens on the inside. Once two fighters get close enough, it's a whole different ballgame. It's a war of attrition. It's a matter of who can impose their will on the other person, who can absorb the punishment and land the big shots. Some fighters are great at it, but it's not easy. It's not pretty, but it's definitely effective. It's hard to hit someone when they're right up in your face, arms all over the place. So you learn to fight in tight spaces, to use your elbows and knees effectively. You learn to tie up those arms and to limit what your opponent can do. When you're good at it, it looks something like this. Can you see why we call it the art of the clinch? It's an extension of the stand-up game, only now you're inside. The striking continues. There's no break in the action. Now you're hitting with your knees and elbows. You're smothering, you're tying up arms, and you're controlling the distance. That's why controlling the clinch often means controlling the fight. You can set the pace. You can wear someone down. And when you start throwing in some knees and elbows, you can wear someone down even faster. And it doesn't matter if you're a striker or a grappler. You need to have some skills in the clinch. If you're a striker, you need to know how to smother a punch. You need to know how to tie up those arms, limit the damage, and then set up your own attack. If you're a grappler, you need to know how to get the fight to the mat. You need to know how to use your wrestling skills to dominate. I don't care if you're a boxer, a wrestler, a judoka, a karateka. Everyone needs to know a little bit about the clinic, even MMA fighters. People sometimes forget that mixed martial arts started as a striking and grappling hybrid. It was called Vale Tudo in Brazil and Pancrase in Japan. The idea was to find out what happens when you mix fighting styles together, when you take away the restrictions and let the fighters battle it out. It was unlong before people realized that the best fighters were the ones who could strike and grapple. That's why today's MMA fighters must be well-rounded. They must have a solid base in striking and a strong understanding of grappling. That includes the clinch. In fact, the clinic is making a comeback in MMA. Years ago, it was all about taking the fight to the mat. Now it's just as common to see fighters battling it out in the clinch. I love it when that happens. The fans love it when that happens. It makes for exciting fights. Now let's take a closer look at the mechanics of the clinch. What makes it so effective? First off, you're inside. You're not on the outside looking in. You're right up in your opponent's face. You can feel their breath on your neck. And that's a powerful motivator. It puts you right in the thick of the action. Plus, when you're inside, you're in control. You're not worried about your opponent's jab or their straight right hand. You don't have to worry about being clipped on the way in or on the way out. You're in control of the situation. Secondly, it's a battle of strength and endurance. The key to winning the battle is to be stronger than your opponent. And that doesn't mean you have to be the biggest, baddest guy in the gym. It means you have to be stronger than your opponent in this particular situation. It means you have to have the upper hand, at least for a short time. Because let's face it, if you had to wrestle someone for 20 minutes, it would be a pretty lopsided affair. That's why the key to the clinch is to use short bursts of energy, followed by periods of rest. You want to go hard for a few seconds, then back off and recover. That way you can keep fresh throughout the fight. Thirdly, it's all about leverage and position. Let's face it, if you're tied up in a phone booth with someone twice your size, you're probably not going to win the battle. The key is to get into a position where you have the advantage. If you're a smaller fighter, you need to find ways to use your head and your elbows to control your opponent. You need to use your knees to keep him off balance. If you're a bigger fighter, you can use your weight to your advantage. You can push your opponent away from you. You can use your elbows to keep him at bay. But it's not just about size. It's about technique too. You need to know how to use your body to control your opponent's movements. You need to know how to limit his options and force him to do what you want him to do. Fighting in the clinch is like a chess match. Every move you make, your opponent will try to counter. Every position you get into, he'll try to escape. That's why it's important to have a variety of moves in your arsenal. You need to be able to adapt to different situations and take advantage of whatever opportunities come your way. Finally, the clinch is a mental game. Your opponent is right up in your face, breathing down your neck. He's trying to intimidate you, to make you feel uncomfortable. That's why it's important to have a cool head. You need to stay focused on the task at hand. You need to block out everything else and concentrate on your opponent. If you can do that, then you'll be able to fight effectively in the clinch. In the world of combat sports, there are few things more exciting than the clinch. It's a battle of wills, a test of endurance, a display of skill and technique. Whether you're a fan of striking or grappling, there's something about watching two warriors go at it in the clinch that gets the blood pumping. So next time you find yourself in the clinch, don't back down. Embrace the challenge. Let your skills do the talking and show your opponent what you're made of. And remember, it's not just about the reach. The fight in the phone booth is just beginning. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. We bring you top quality fighting videos every day. Till next time, train hard and smart.